All right, we got Tom's Bronco back out of the paint booth in the shop, buffing on the fenders. Thought maybe I'd give you kind of a 1-2 on the way I buff them. So I've actually buffed the fender here and working on the door. So I kind of just did this to show you, what I'm talking about when I talk about orange peel or dirt nubs. Is I've hit this with 1500. Now it laid out pretty smooth and I painted it yesterday, so it's kind of soft. Usually I'll start with like 1000 grit or 1200 and it cuts a little flatter. So I talk about orange peels. What I'm doing is I'm sanding, taking 1500 grit and sanding it till I get rid of this texture. You can see like kind of an orange, they call it orange peel. And there's also like a little dirt nubber, little chunk of shit right there and right there. What happens is it lands in there, and the clear, when you put the clear, spray clear over top of it, it kind of builds a little mountain over top of that chunk of dirt or whatever it is. So we're going to try to wet sand that down, at least flat. You might still see it, but at least it will be flat and it won't catch the light and the reflection. So what I'm doing right now is I've got kind of a little soft pad. You can buy these at any paint store, and this is just 1500 grit sandpaper. So I'm going to go ahead and see what I usually do is fold my paper in half and roll it over like that, and then got a little bit of water, and you just sand lightly. Just let the sandpaper in the way of the block cut it. You don't want to force it. You just want it to kind of slide across there and take away some of the basically what I do is I take this and I use this edge like a squeegee, and I'll literally just squeegee that off. What it does is it gets a lot of the moisture off, and it dries way faster, and you can come back and see where I only sand that for a second, but like that spot's almost gone and that spot's almost ready to go ahead and wet sand on that some more. Go from there. Now that I've sanded this thing down with 1500 grit, I just grab these just cheap paper towels. They're basically the same as like a blue shop rag. It actually hits the floor like they say on the bucket. Shake the shit out, make sure no chunks of stuff in it. Cause right now you don't want to. You got like 1500 grit scratches in here. You don't want a big piece of metal or a chunk of Bondo or a chunk of anything in there that's going to leave a big old gouge. And listen, sometimes you'll, even there on the wet sand pad, you'll like sand it and you'll kind of hear something stop. Flip it over, look at it. Sometimes it's just a chunk of stuff, but you don't want to dig any kind of gouges in your actual paint. Just 2000 grit 3M. It's gonna be a pretty good, nice, fine grit that polishes pretty easy. I'm gonna soak this in water for a minute while I switch my pads, and then get back to wet sanding this thing again with 2000. And there we are again, wiping off our clear coat residue. Trying to get all that clear off of there so it don't gum up our pads. We can kind of get back and look and make sure we got no orange peel. I think that's good. Let me grab a pad and I'll show you. So since it's pretty soft, pretty fresh, we're gonna start with a white foam pad, which is kind of a medium cut. Usually it's kind of a wool pad to a medium cut to a fine or an ultra fine. When you're buffing, your pad's spinning this way, you want to put your pressure on the edge of the pad that's coming off. It's going to spin off of your panel. If you put your pad this way and buff into your edge, that's going to hit first and it's going to burn that edge. You know, coming off my pad like this and not going into it like that, you can see where like the foam actually digs in. Or if you come this way, it literally just flows right off, and I burnt a lot of panels, and I still do it from time to time. Very seldom. I go kind of slow, kind of easy. I've got hours on the buffer now, so pretty good at being able to tell what I can and I can't buff. But that's just kind of a little tip that I had to find out the hard way a few times. So we'll get my buffer and extension cord and get set up with the compound and get ready to polish this. Wet sanding's done. We finished it with 15 to 2000, and then we took 3M extra cut compound. This is a 360 compound. Here it says, I think it says it'll take out 1200. Yeah, well, it's in Spanish. I can't read Spanish. Design and remove 1200 grit and finer scratches with either a 3M wool or foam pad and compound. So we used a white foam pad, which is a medium cut, with the 36060, and now we're going to use a black foam pad, which is a softer pad, with their second step. Well, actually, I guess we're going to jump a step and go to their 6068. Now, I don't know, honestly, if these two go together. Part numbers off. 3M's got some weird ass numbers. I just know that I can polish with this all the way out to a real fine. I mean, I could even go out to a black foam pad with this if I still had some haze on my panel, but since it's pretty fresh, real soft, and it's buffing out really nice, it's a nice high-end clear. I'm gonna just jump to their second stroll mark remover and try to get out any fine scratches we can get out.